And welcome to Uridium on the C64, and this was designed and programmed by Andrew Braybrook of GraphGold and released by Houston in 1986. And if you didn't know Andrew Braybrook programmed this, you can see his name in huge letters there. In fact, yeah, it displays the #1 on the high score list in huge letters as well, so interesting. Right, so if you've never played this before, it's a two-way horizontally scrolling shoot 'em up, and each level takes place flying over what's called a dreadnought, and there's 15 levels in total. And the idea is that you fly over the dreadnought, destroy attack waves, and destroy ground installations. And all you do is you do that until it tells you to land, and when it tells you to land, you approach the runway. Tell me now, so let's approach the runway. There it is. What you do is approach from left to right, or whichever way the arrows indicate, which is normally left to right. I'm trying to think if there are any that are right to left. Probably not. And then once you land, it takes you to this screen where you just try and get as many points as you can by pressing fire at the correct time. Ah, damn it. Right, so after that it takes you to a little sequence where you fly over the dreadnoughts, and you can see it get destroyed, but this is also a last minute chance to grab some more points, because you can shoot ground installations that you haven't previously destroyed. And that effect is quite well done, I think. When it gets destroyed, quite like that. And here we are, onto the second level, where the graphics are fairly similar, just got a slightly different colour scheme. And that's pretty much the whole game, really. It's a fairly no-frills shoot 'em up. When it came out, it was quite well received, but over the time, shoot 'em up started to become a bit more complicated, and they had all sorts of power-ups and things like that. And Uridium sort of fell out of favour with the critics, at least. Possibly games players, but I always still played it now and then. I never get bored of playing it, and even now, now that I've gone back to it for this review, it still feels, the game, for some reason it still feels quite fresh. I mean, all those other shoot 'em ups, the power ups, they've been and gone, but for some reason Uridium still feels quite fresh, quite good to play. I think maybe it's because of its simplicity, but the idea at the time was that Braybrook wanted to put a arcade quality shoot 'em up on the C64, and that's exactly what he did. And these are Uridium mines, and what happens is, if you loiter too long in a part of the level that has those flashing squares, they'll launch a Uridium mine at you. And all you do is, they've got a limited lifespan, all you have to do is avoid them, but you can't destroy them. Just got to wait till they destroy themselves. And some levels have these raised bits. You can see, if I pause the game, you see that wall in the middle of the screen has a shadow on it. That means that it's raised up and you can't fly over it. And they also give a, you can hear the bullets. Right, I'm about to land before I get destroyed. I don't know how I managed to survive that, but here we go. Yep, so onto the bonus screen again. Ah, damn it. Yep, so it's typical of Andrew Braybrook. Most of his games are really well designed, and he goes into the small details. And it's often things that you don't notice that make the game as well. In this game, you know, it's so smooth, and the controls are so well done that you just take it for granted almost. But unfortunately, one of the reasons I've put off reviewing this is because due to emulation and capture, video capture. The frame rate, it's not going to have that. It's not going to capture that smoothness that the playing it on a real C64 will have. I mean, this scrolling was just absolutely silky smooth. It just really stood out at the time. I mean, he's not the first. He's not, you know, not the first game developer to use smooth scrolling, but it was first to have this sort of deliver it in this package, you know, this speed with these sort of graphics. So that's why it really stood out at the time. But the gameplay still plays well, I think. One other feature I'll show you in a second is that you can also, as well as going left and right and controlling the speed of the ship and moving up and down the level, you can also rotate the ship. This is one of the negative part, but so you hold down fire and up and down. Oops, and don't fly into them. You hold down fire or up or down, and what it does is rotate the ship. And it stays in that until you turn the ship. It stays rotated like that, so it's useful for squeezing through some of the smaller gaps on the later levels. Right, this level does flag up one of the slight problems with this release. Is the colour schemes. Some of them are pretty horrendous. And it was slightly addressed in what happened is this came out 86 and in I think it was 87 or thereabouts. Hewson released a double pack of Paradroids and Uridium, and it came with a slightly altered versions of both games, and it's called Uridium Plus. The altered version, and what it did was featured new levels, all new levels with improved colour schemes in some of them, and slightly modified graphics. I don't think the graphics were too much better, but they were slightly different for sure. Oof. And it also featured one change to the gameplay, and that is that you didn't have to wait for the land now message, you could just land at any time. So if you wanted to see more of the game, you could just make a beeline for the runway right away, and obviously you would score less points because you're not blowing up as many ships. But yeah, interesting change to the game. I don't think it affects it too much, and it's not that much of a. Oh, there we go. I need to rotate to get through that gap. Yeah, it wasn't. Not that much of a change really. Uridium Plus, it's just a slightly tweaked version of Uridium, but it's not really a full sequel or anything like that. So that's why I haven't reviewed it, and I probably won't review it either, but worth checking out if you're interested, I suppose. Right, so I've shown you most of the game features, I think. Yeah, so graphically it's pretty smart. It's got a nice sort of clean look to it. Most of Braybrook's games always had. He had his own particular style. He was, you know, a good enough artist that he had his own style that stood out from other people. And this style of graphic was, these sort of base relief graphics were copied by many people after this. And some games ripped off sprites, so he was a very, very good artist in C64. I think people remember him for his programming skill and his skill as a game designer, but he was also a very good artist, I think. Sound-wise, the sound effects are great. Steve Turner did the sound effects, as was often the case. They're really loud, really add to the game, I think. Yep, and yeah, the gameplay is great, so I'll give this 9 out of 10, and I'll see you in the next video.